Hi, it's Miss Hamilton, and today we're going to talk about integers and the number line. So first off, what are whole numbers? Whole numbers are the numbers that we usually count with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on and so forth. They also include 0. So for example, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I put that ... because they keep going on to infinity, are your whole numbers. Well, what are negative numbers? Negative numbers are the opposites of those counting numbers. So for example, -2 is opposite of 2. So -2 would be a negative number. Or -10 is opposite of 10. So -10 would be an opposite or would be a negative number. So then what are integers? Well, integers is this group of numbers that are all the whole numbers and their opposites, those negative numbers. So for example, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, these are all integers. I put the ... on each side because they go in both directions. They go to infinity positive and infinity negative. So when would you use integers? So we're going to use integers. You could use them to describe real world situations, okay? If they're positive, they're more than 0, and if they're negative, they're less than 0. So we're comparing to 0. So for example, the one place that you probably see negatives the most is going to be temperature. We refer to temperature as being either above 0 or below 0. I mean, it could be 0, but if we're talking about the temperature outside right now is 42 degrees. That means it's 42 degrees above 0. Sometimes here when it gets really cold, you might see a temperature that is in a negative, or if you're in somewhere that has a much colder climate like Alaska or even Minnesota, they might more frequently have negatives. So -3 would mean it's 3 degrees below that 0 degree mark. Another point would be if you're talking about money. When you start balancing your checkbook or you're looking at your bank account, if you put money into it, you're adding a positive into it. Or if you're taking money out, it's a negative number. The money is coming out. And then elevation. There's something called elevation that refers to how high something is relative what they call sea level. And sea level would be 0. So how much taller than that sea level is, it would be positive. Or if it is something that is lower than sea level, it would be negative. You could also refer to just something being higher or lower than 0. So we can put these integers onto a number line. Usually we compare them to 0. So 0 could be in the middle. Most often in this unit, we would be having 0 in the middle, but it could be anywhere. So anyways, for this purpose, we'll have 0 in the middle. All of my positive numbers go to the right of it. All of my negative numbers go to the left of 0. So for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 would be on the right of 0. Now, notice that as we go to the right, the numbers get bigger. To the left of 0 are those negatives. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Notice we start with -1 closer to 0 because it's only one place below 0. Just as 1 is only one place above 0, -1 is just one place below 0. It's that opposite. Same with 2. 2 is 2 places above 0. -2 is 2 places below 0. As we get further away to the left from 0, those numbers do get smaller. One thing really to keep in mind is since -5 on my number line is the smallest number, as I read over to the right and get up towards 5, my numbers are getting bigger. So in summary, first off, integers, they do include the whole numbers and their opposites, which we call negatives. The number line has the positives. They're all greater than 0, and we use them to refer to something that is bigger than 0, and they end up on the right of the number line. On the left side of the number line are my negative numbers. These negative numbers are smaller than 0, and they again are on the left. And you just got to remember that as you read from left to right on the number line, the numbers do get larger because remember your positives are going to be bigger than your negatives, and the positives fall on the right. And that is your introduction to integers and the number line.